Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. I know I'm a little bit early, but that's how I am. I usually get to appointments ahead of time instead of being late. So, what shall we talk about? I don't have any instruments. I don't have a kazoo. And my impressions are limited. And I wonder if anybody's here yet. I don't have StreamYard, so I don't know how you can tell if somebody makes comments on my end. Well, let's start off with my favorite coffee mug. And on the other side, it says, it has the cows. Now, I'm not good at this because I tried this once before and it didn't work out. But I'm going to give it a shot. See what happens, see how it goes. Run it up the flagpole, like they say. I've been reading this book. It's very interesting. I highly recommend it to everybody, vegan or not, especially for the non-vegans, especially the way things are going in this country. That's beyond belief. How anybody can vote for that Nazi piece of crap. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that right now. Oh, I can see you. Oh, hi. Hi, Martin. Hi, Amadeus. And who these other people? Oh, that's cool. I didn't know how this was going to work. Like I said, the last time I tried, it was a failure. So, I don't know how do I make a mod on my channel? Make somebody a mod. Hello, vlogs from Calcutta. Hi, everybody. Oh, my hat. I decorated this hat up. So when I wear it, I'm a walking vegan message. Oh, boy. Yeah. Well, like my first talk, I gave a talk at the library on the 15th of this month, and only 2 people showed up, and they were both friends. But they're non-vegans, but hopefully what I said will be absorbed. But I'm going to do a series. The next one I want to talk about vivisection and product testing and similar things. Glad you like my hat, Kevin Martin. So far, I haven't mentioned any food torture. Oh, wait a minute. Yesterday, I did make something with blueberries and oatmeal and unsweetened applesauce and soy milk. Kind of like a blueberry crumble. I don't know what you call it, but it tastes good. Oh, we got an idiot here. Remove. Oh, sorry about that in my nose. It doesn't want to leave. I know I've tried to get it to vacate the premises, but excuse my nostril. Well, thank you for telling me. Of course, some vegan vlogs, Bengali and Raoul Duke. That's an old joke. Yep, I'm vegan. Been vegan for quite a while now. Oh, I'm removing people. No, BK Gaming, I'm not the vegan teacher. Really? Well, thank you, Siraj. How do I make a mod on here? What made me become vegan is because I believe and respect the rights of animals to live, that they're not here for us to use, to exploit, commodify, or enslave in any way, shape, or form, for any reason. What's the vegan bofa meal? I've never heard of that. I'm getting idiots on here. Oh my, excuse me. I will not tolerate any stupid comments, but animals like their life too, so your personal choice has an impact when there's a victim involved. Sure, you can have personal choices like, what outfit you want to wear, that type of thing, but when who you eat impacts someone. Oh, cut it out. I'm going to report this idiot. That one. Yes, eggs are murder because the chickens, baby male chicks, are macerated or suffocated as soon as their sex is determined. And that's wrong. It's cruel. It's cruel to force chickens to lay more eggs than necessary. They get prolapsed uteruses. Yeah, exactly, Kevin. Milk is not okay because dairy involves rape, theft, and murder. So if you support those things, well, that's just... If I keep getting these trolls in here... Yes, exactly, vlogs. It is torturous. They force the cows to produce more milk than necessary. Of course, Kush, your wife can breastfeed because human milk is for human babies. Cow's milk is for their babies, not for us. How hard is it to understand that? I don't get why people can't understand that simple fact. And this is not just my opinion, it's facts. Cows are forcibly impregnated. Their calves are stolen shortly after birth. And then they're forcibly impregnated again. Cows can live up to 30 years. But in the dairy industry, 5 or 6 years tops because their bodies get so worn out from all the stress and of being constantly pregnant and the stress of having their baby stolen from them. We don't need dairy products when there's plenty of plant-based alternatives. But personal choice ends when there's a victim, and animals are victimized constantly for people like you. Hello, One Earth Nation. People don't realize that their choices have impacts like that on who you eat. Flesh, dairy, and eggs are all cruel. They're all involve abuse beyond belief. And I saw a Vegan for the Animals short that says if we killed humans at the same rate animals are slaughtered, humans would be extinct in 17 days. Now think about that. Now people think if it's okay to rape cows and pigs and other animals just for profit. If it's wrong to do it to people, it should also be, it's morally and ethically wrong to do it to animals as well. But here's the next book I have. Another recommend. Dystopia. Excellent book for the vegans dealing with non-vegan people. Hi, Nathan. Nice to see you here. But good morning, Nathan. Yeah, I'm glad to see some of my VFFs like Nathan and Martin. I'm trying to be as respectful as possible, but when people start trolling on my channel, I can't respect trolls. I mean, if you're seriously curious about veganism, and it's not a diet, by the way, it's a way of life. It can be summed up in 3 words. Don't use animals. I mean, if people are really curious about it, then that's fine. But if you're a troll, no. I'll be deleting and reporting. So let's see what else. Trying to stay hydrated. I got my water. That's very important to stay hydrated. And I mean, eating a plant-based diet, which is part of veganism, is simple. It's not expensive. Fruits, veggies, beans, rice, lentils, potatoes, most bread. You gotta read labels, because some bread, like I found out a while back that I liked raisin bread once in a while, but certain kinds have milk in them. Just like salt and vinegar potato chips. Not that I try not to eat too many chips, but salt and vinegar potato chips have milk, and it's like, what the hell? Why do they need to put milk in there? So you got to read labels for the obvious things like, eggs and dairy, but dairy includes whey, rennet. Then there's gelatin, honey, bone char. I'm probably forgetting a few things, but not all bread has eggs, Kush. Certain ones do. That's why you have to just read labels. It's easy. It's just like I read labels on products like, healthcare products, shampoos, conditioners, even, like dish soap and that type of thing. If you see the V, it's cruelty free, or like the leaping bunny also. You just got to be careful. I try to, like my toothpaste, my mouthwash, my dish soap, hand soap, all that stuff, regular soap, is all cruelty-free. Exactly, One Earth Nation. Well, that's good, vlogs. I know it's tough because we're brought up thinking it's, we don't, usually most people don't stop to think about how that food got onto their plate, what happened to those animals. I know I grew up the same way, the standard American, with meat and dairy at the top of the pyramid, fruits and vegetables at the bottom. And but once you make that connection, when that cognitive dissonance disappears, then you realize, I mean, people say they love animals, but most times they mean like their cat or dog, for example, but not who's on their plate. That chicken, that pig, the cow, the turkey, fish, whoever. So that's what you call speciesism. When you value one species over another. It's just as bad as racism, sexism, fascism, which, again, we must not allow fascism to take over this country. I know we're being turned into a laughing stock by that idiot. What about using animals for living? No, animals are not our slaves. They're not here for us to use in any way. And that's slavery, because especially when you get vehicles now, you don't need animals. I know they used them in the olden days, but those are the bad old days when they used horses and oxen. But some places still do it now. That's right, Martin. They're not, like, that's another thing with language. When people see an animal, they usually say it. But animals are not it and it. They're objectified. If you don't know their gender, you just say he or she or they. And, like, for instance, pigs are pigs. They're not bacon or ham, pork chops or sausages or any other horrible things that they make from their flesh. And people that may not know that pigs that end up as bacon and other chunks of their flesh are put in a gas chamber. You need to watch Pignorant on Amazon Prime, and also Dominion is another great documentary to watch for non-vegans, especially. Yeah, cars are worse, but it's worse to abuse an animal, whip and beat them if they can't pull a heavy load. I don't have a car anymore, so I'm glad. But cars are necessary for people to get to one place to another. No, it wouldn't be. Horses are not our slaves. I keep repeating that. Horses, no animal is our slave. They're not here for us to abuse, like racehorses, carriage horses, any reason. We have not had cars for 200 years. Oh my God. Learn a little history, please. Horses haven't been here forever either. That, don't be, horses are not our slaves. I'll keep repeating that. We have no right to use them to take away their right to freedom. No, not donkeys either. No animal. Donkeys are animals too. That's right, Martin. We need cars for transportation, buses, trucks. Planes, I think, are worse for the environment than cars. You know, it's just like a friend of mine about that personal choice issue. She says that, it's a personal choice, and I tell her personal choices end when it impacts someone, when there's a victim. Just like we don't have a right to abuse any animal for any reason. Bees are animals. What do you think they are? They're not plants, they're not rocks, they're animals, they're sentient beings. And we have no right to steal their honey, which is meant for their babies and for their hive. It's not meant for us, and it's replaced with cheap sugar water that has no nutritional value for their baby bees. Oh my God. I try to be patient with people. Some people try my patience. I joke around and say, I'm not a doctor, I don't have any patience. That's right, One Earth Nation. Exploitation is unethical, period. Whoever is the victim, for whatever reason, whether it's eating their flesh, stealing their, like using them in as lab tools, they're not lab tools either. They're not slaves. They're not quote unquote entertainment. They have a right to exist without our interference. What we need to do is stop forcibly breeding domestic animals, and I'm not just talking about cows, pigs, chickens, etc., cats and dogs too, because there's too many animals in shelters, and you get these unethical breeders. I'm not just talking about puppy mills, but even the regular breeders, so to speak, that show their dogs. The dogs have to be just perfect, and the dogs don't care about dog shows. It's the people do it for themselves. Well, I wish we didn't have to be here talking about this if people stopped using and exploiting animals. Right, animals. We have no right to annually electrocute foxes on a fur farm, for example, for their fur that belongs to them, to make these ugly people think they're beautiful wearing fur coats. And skin, wearing someone's dead skin is disgusting, whether it's cow skin, horsehide, ostrich, alligator, crocodile, snakes, lizards, whoever it is, that's their skin. And no, I don't have boots. I don't have anything leather. I'm vegan. We don't wear dead animals, and we don't eat them either. I'm not calling people ugly per se. They think they look glamorous in fur, but they're ugly. It makes them look ugly. The fur is only beautiful on the original owner. Yeah, ugly behavior, exactly. No, because that's still exploiting them. That's still showing that it's all right to exploit animals. Even if you found, that'd be like taking roadkill. It's the same thing. My clothes are not made of sheep. I don't wear any wool. I don't wear anything that's obtained from animals. And like people that pick up a feather and think it's okay, but then it shows other people, oh, good, we can use feathers. But in the industry, like down-filled items like coats and quilts or whatever, they rip the feathers out of the ducks and geese. Okay, I'm going to remove this. Okay. Yeah, One Earth Nation. Yeah, trolls are disgusting. It's annoying when I'm on someone else's channel and you get these trolls. Yeah, it's not true. Your opinion is not true, Amadeus. I do not wear dead animals or anything obtained from animals. Can you comprehend that? Really? You know? You were trolling. Saying my clothes are made from sheep. They are not. My God, I don't know how other people put up with trolls. I get them sometimes in my community post and whatnot, but exactly, vlogs. And most of that is unnecessary. You know, like they breed golden retrievers to have muscular dystrophy, and the poor dogs, I've seen undercover footage of these poor dogs. They're drooling, they can't even eat. And it's wrong because dogs don't get muscular dystrophy. They need to focus on helping people that actually have it. And, you know, there's so many things, like I always bring up thalidomide when talking about animal testing. It tested fine on guinea pigs and rabbits, I believe it was. I read a book a few years back all about that. And when women had babies in the 50s and early 60s, they came out with deformed limbs because of thalidomide. My clothes are made out of textiles, cotton, anything, nothing that comes from an animal. Linen, cotton, whatever. Man-made textiles. Because I read clothing labels too. No fur, no leather, no wool, silk, down, cashmere, angora, or mohair, because they're all cruelly taken from animals. Like angora comes from rabbits and goats. They rip their hair right out of them, and the poor animals are screaming. I agree, vlogs. That needs to stop too, because like I said, they're not slaves, and they need to stop that. They need to get motorized and stop abusing animals. Also, like in the circus too, because there's still some circuses that abuse animals. Because tigers, for example, are afraid of fire, but they're forced to jump through the hoop, otherwise they get beaten. Elephants, they get abused. I've seen years ago undercover footage of somebody in an elephant training. They were training elephant trainers, training people to be elephant trainers, and they tell them to yell at them to make them scream. Hi, Donna. Nice to see you here. One Earth Nation, that's right. Plants are amazing. And plants differ greatly from animals. They're not sentient. They're living things, sure, but they're not living beings because they don't have a heart or central nervous system. And I never heard a carrot scream when I cut it up. Yeah, you can make your own compost, you know, like you can take coffee grounds, you can take apple peel, banana peel, orange peels, and get like a bin out in your yard. You can get topsoil and stuff. You can mix it up, but you can throw like your vegetable matter, any plant matter into it and let it compost. And then in the spring, whenever you decide to plant your garden, you've got your own compost, and it's better. Yeah, I thought about having a garden last time, but maybe this year I'll do something because I have these bins out in the backyard, but I gotta refresh the soil and figure out. I want to plant tomatoes. I love garden tomatoes because I've planted them before, and there's nothing like a fresh garden tomato, because the ones in the store Some of them are okay, but most of them look like a tomato, but they don't have the flavor. And I used to grow string beans and snap peas. A lot of times I just would eat the snap peas. They never got into the house. Another tip I can give people, I try to tell one of my friends that takes me shopping because I don't have a car. She always puts her produce in individual plastic bags. I don't do that anymore. If you want to do that, just save the ones you use and bring them back to the store. But I try to cut down on plastic. Thank you, Donna. Exactly, vlogs. There's alternatives to everything. Everything. The purse I have, I bought a few years ago at a thrift store for $15, and it had a tag that said PETA approved because it's made from some kind of plant leather. Well, Amadeus, that may have been true many years ago when there weren't other options that people used animals, but that was centuries ago, whatever. This is 2025 and we do not need to be using animals for anything. There's plenty of alternatives. As far as like entertainment goes, go to Cirque du Soleil another circus that doesn't exploit animals, or like zoos and aquariums are no good because you don't learn anything about them, and it's cruel to imprison animals that are innocent. Orcas and dolphins and such, all the sea life belongs in the oceans where they belong with their families, because dolphins and orcas live in pods. Well, that's not exactly what I said, Amadeus. I said back in the bad old days, I mean the old days when they didn't have other vehicles, they did use animals, but they usually didn't have a choice. But now we have a choice these past few decades. I mean, when I started on my path back in the day, there was only soy milk. Now there's a plethora of plant-based milks that are all delicious. And there was only like black bean burgers. Now you get, one of my favorites is a local company called Beastie Burgers. I tried them at Compassion Fest last year. Last year. And they're delicious. Exactly, One Earth Nation. There's been vegans for centuries, even back in, the Greek and Roman era, the philosopher, there was people that were vegan, even though that wasn't what it was called back then. And Martin, that's correct. What happened in the past is irrelevant. This is the modern day. What happened in the past was in the past, just like people that weren't born vegan but became vegan at some point. What they did in the past is irrelevant. That's right, Donna. There's never a reason to use or exploit animals because, in fact, they have something, I think it's called a kind frog, that they use for schools for dissection purposes instead of the real frogs. And the funny thing about that is my mom, back when she was in high school, which was back in the 40s, they wanted her to dissect a frog. She refused. And they told her then write a report on something, and she wrote a report on spiders. So kudos to my mom for doing that back then. I mean, but she wasn't vegan, really, but I mean, that was just an example. Exactly, One Earth Nation. Hi, Brian. Vegan Brian activist. Hey, good to see you here. Yeah, it's just like, I don't believe in the death penalty either, because it does, two wrongs don't make a right. Killing someone for killing someone else, it's just state or government sanctioned murder. It's the same thing. Life in prison without parole is more of a punishment than killing somebody. They're dead. They're all their cares are gone. They're not gonna, be able to atone for what they did. And then sometimes some people are on death row and they're innocent because the technology back then when they were, incarcerated originally was pretty, basic. It was poor. Well, I don't know how long this live stream is going to be. Hey, at least it's working. The last time I tried this, it failed miserably. That was a few years ago. But good to see my VFFs here, Brian and Martin and Donna and Nathan. And it's nice to meet you, One Earth Nation. I'm going to have to sub to your channel. Yeah, exactly, Brian. They didn't do anything wrong. Like zoos, for example. I learned more about wildlife from watching nature documentaries on PBS and reading books about various species like wolves, and learn about chimps from reading Jane Goodall. Cynthia Moss wrote a great book about elephants. I mean, you can learn about species from watching, like I said, watching documentaries, reading books, because zoos, that's not natural habitat. They don't have the free range. Martin, you're funny. That they don't have, they're in, no matter how quote unquote nice these zoos may be, they're still prisons. Those animals belong in their natural habitats, and conservation is a joke. Just like the aquariums, just like animals in labs. We want empty cages, not bigger cages. Yeah, I'm open-minded, One Earth Nation. That's why I like all kinds of music. I don't limit myself to one type of music. I like everything, classical to classic rock, reggae, Celtic music, jazz, blues, you name it. It's all good. So some people just limit themselves to like one of my friends mostly likes music from the 60s. Nothing wrong with that, but be open-minded, listen to everything. In my collection, I have classical music. Like I said, I have everyone from Billie Holiday to Billie Eilish. Well, thank you, One Earth Nation. Yeah, I don't like pretension. I like to be straightforward. I don't like playing games. Not mind games, but I like playing word games because that keeps your brain good, doing word searches and puzzles and whatnot. Yeah, Amadeus, I go all over the place. It's like I like to talk about different things. I mean, just like with movies and TV shows, I like all kinds. I don't, limit myself to one particular genre. The same with books. I like fiction, nonfiction. I love reading about history, especially Irish history. I read a lot about Irish history and Native American history. And exactly, Martin. Yeah, I don't need to use animal skins for drums. Not when there's alternatives. Take another sip of my cold coffee. Still tastes all right. in my pita mug. I'm probably right, One Earth Nation. See, like, I take certain subjects seriously, but it's also good to have a sense of humor. Like, I don't have any instruments like Sky does. Oh, I don't have a kazoo. And my repertoire of impressions is very limited. I can do Steve Urkel. I can imitate Mrs. Wolowitz from Big Bang Theory and Donald Duck sneezing, but that's about it. I can't sing. I don't play any instruments. I tried playing guitar many, many, many years ago, but it didn't work out. I mean, I should have started when I was younger, I guess. Oh, boy. I'm trying not to mention food too much on here because I don't want to torture Martin any more than I already do. I'm always posting food that I make, like my crockpot vegan chili, crockpot vegan beef stew. I make my own cornbread with it's a mix, but I don't use eggs, of course. I use unsweetened applesauce. Hi, Pia. Nice to see ya. Like, when I make the cornbread, like I said, I use unsweetened applesauce, and I put wheat germ and flax or chia seeds, whatever, in it. And what I'll do is pour half the batter into the pan, and then I put some kind of jam in between. So I call it Cathy's Jam and Cornbread. Oops. Inevitably, I'm talking about food. Sorry, Martin. Yeah, you know what? On another serious note about different forms of dementia, my mom had it and my late brother had it, but he only had it for a little while. I think his cause of death was something else entirely. And I think my oldest brother has it. All right, thanks, Martin. Okay, thanks, One Earth Nation. Yeah, One Earth Nation. Yeah, go vegan or get effed. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I get that, One Earth Nation. Well, it's a serious issue, animal abuse. I mean, nobody would go kick a dog, so why would you want somebody to cut a pig's throat for you? You know? Exactly, vegan Brian. Yeah, that's a good one for non-vegans to watch. Also, Pignorant, the Joey Carbstrong one is a good one too. But as I was saying about dementia, none of my family was or are plant-based or vegan, because my oldest brother used to go hunting and I didn't like it, but what was I supposed to do? He's my older brother, I told him that I didn't like hunting. That's right, Donna. So I'm trying, hopefully, I went to my doctor to ask a while back, last year sometime, if there was any kind of test they could do to see if, one would be, inclined to maybe get dementia. But B12 levels are important. If they're too low, that's not good. So, and blueberries are a good source of B12, and I love blueberries. They're one of my favorite fruits. I mean, I love all fruits, pretty much. And all vegetables, too, except I'm not that fond of turnips. There's nothing good about animal flesh, Amadeus. I don't miss any of that. I don't miss eating someone's flesh. I'm not a corpse muncher. But like I was saying about B12 levels, if you eat blueberries and I take vegan gummies, B12 gummies, to help. So hopefully that works. Yeah, exactly, One Earth Nation. It tastes gross, and to smell the burning flesh, it's like Holocaust survivors say the smell of especially pig flesh burning is the same as that of the smell coming from the crematoriums. And it's just disgusting. I can't imagine ever going back to eating flesh. Some celebrities, for example, claim to be vegan, but they were only plant-based for a while, then they go back to eating flesh. Exactly, Martin. And we should not be, just because we don't pull the trigger or slice their throat ourselves doesn't mean we're not complicit, or non-vegans are not complicit in murder. It's the same thing like Charlie Manson didn't kill Sharon Tate and those other people. He ordered other people to do it for him, but he's still complicit of their murders. No, the world doesn't have to work that way. That's a defeatist attitude. You can make a change. You can become vegan in all ways, not just who you eat or what you eat, but the clothing, your choice of entertainment, the products you buy. Exactly, Martin. It starts with us. Each individual makes a difference. And to think otherwise is a defeatist attitude. And I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep advocating for animals. I'm an abolitionist. Like I said, I don't believe in bigger cages, but empty cages. It's not impossible if that's a defeatist attitude. If you think it's not going to happen, if you can't make a change and just give up, throw your hands up in the air and say, I quit, that's defeatist. It will happen eventually, maybe not in our lifetimes, but it will happen. And yeah, right, Martin, there's no justification for not being vegan. It's either pure laziness, you're stuck in a rut, because ignorance is no excuse, because you can look up, watch these documentaries and see what's going on. People filming stuff undercover. And some people I notice in comments on those undercover videos, they say, well, why don't they do something? What are they supposed to do? They need to bring what's in the dark to the light so people know what's going on. And if anybody ever found out that they were being filmed, that person doing the filming would probably be murdered. You know? How can you feel victory in eating meat? You hate animals then. If you think it's okay to eat their flesh, we're not meant to eat flesh. Just because we have those canine teeth we don't have fangs. And you know what? If you ate meat like a true carnivore, you'd eat it bloody and raw. It's because you cook the flesh and season it up, put sauces on it. That's what makes it taste good. The flesh itself doesn't taste good. It's all the crap you put on it. And if you had to go kill your own food, not use any weapons, no guns, no bows and arrows, nothing, if you had to catch an animal with your own bare hands and kill them with your bare hands, you would eat the whole animal from anus to snout, like Sky said the other day. Exactly, Brian. That's what we show mercy to animals, by not eating them. Put yourself in their paws or their hooves and imagine how it would be like to be going down that chute into the slaughterhouse, hearing the screams and smelling the blood of those who've gone before you and were killed. And a lot of times, they're not fully unconscious when their throats are cut open and when they're dismembered. true. You probably would die if you ate raw bloody meat, because that's where you get all these salmonella, trichinosis, listeria, the avian flu is all from animal flesh and products. How do I do that, One Earth Nation? I don't know how to do that. This is my first time actually going live for such a long time. I appreciate that, but I'm not sure how you do that on because I'm on my phone. Oh, okay. I'll look for that, One Earth Nation, because this is a different phone that I had. I bought this one last year. Got to get a new one. Yes, Kush, it is. If you're, that's what natural carnivores do. They eat everything of the animal. And the hyenas even eat the bones because they have such strong jaws. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that so much, One Earth Nation. That's really sweet of you. But like an animal, like I noticed, I didn't watch it, but when a lion kills a wildebeest or a zebra, if it's a male zebra, for example, they start with the balls. So you would have to, because we're not carnivores. We're not because here's another example why we're not meant to eat flesh. How do you drink water? You drink any liquid with your mouth. But predators, if you ever watch nature videos of lions when they go to the watering hole, they lap the water up with their tongue. Same thing with dogs, cats, whoever. They lap it with their tongue. We don't lap water with our tongues. Oh, thank you, Martin. I don't know how. I gotta figure out afterwards, like, well, I don't believe in culling carnivores, though, One Earth Nation. Wildlife is one thing because they don't have the choices we do. And it throws the balance of nature off when you take out a certain carnivorous species. For example, with wolves in Yellowstone, I always use that as an example. When wolves were eradicated, murdered from Yellowstone, the ecosystem, the habitat went wacko because the deer overpopulated and they ate the saplings. So the trees, there was less trees for beavers to cut down to make dams, which affected other animals like frogs, and it affected the whole environment. But when wolves were reintroduced, it settled the balance of nature. It's supposed to be that way. We have no right to screw up the ecosystem more than we already have. We're overfishing the oceans, killing sharks just for their fins and throwing them back. I mean, Earth would be better off without humans. That's for sure. It would heal. And who are we to judge other animals eat too? And why I'm talking about wildlife. Who's a pest? That's why you have to respect all living beings. Exactly, Martin. Caused enough harm already. Well, whose fault is it about invasive species, Kush? It's people. People that dump like their pet pythons or something. I think it's in Florida, or they dump them in the wild. They don't belong there, but it's humans that are responsible for invasive species, and we don't have a right to blame. We can't blame the animals for what people do. Yeah, Donna, that's right. Just leave wildlife alone. I mean, it's different if you find a wounded animal, you take them to a wildlife rehabber, and hopefully they can, once they're healed from whatever, they can be released back into their habitat. But otherwise, leave them alone. Leave them the hell alone. Excuse me. But like I said, why, natural carnivores don't have a choice. Are you going to try to give a tiger tofu? They'll kill you. You can't. Obligate carnivores, which all cats are, they have to eat flesh. I mean, it's in their nature. And we can't compare ourselves to wild species. Like, for example, poor lions are always put upon, but to use it as an example, in the wild, if another male lion fights the leader of a pride and he wins, he will kill the cubs of the previous leader so he can mate with the lionesses. Now, if you pick and choose just because lions kill animals, why can't I? Well, you can't just pick and choose what they do. Are you going to kill, if you get, say, for example, your new spouse has kids, you're going to kill the kids so you can make her have your babies? I mean, it's ridiculous. That way of thinking is totally ridiculous. You can't judge wild carnivores. They don't have the morals we do. It's wrong to judge them. Very wrong. A true vegan does not advocate killing any animals for any reason. The only time is if an animal is so badly injured or so, terminally ill and they're suffering, then euthanasia, but that's in, rare, certain times. But you cannot, true vegans don't advocate killing animals for any reason. They have a right to exist, and it would throw nature off balance. Imagine if you killed all the predators, because the seas would be dead, because the only marine life that are basically vegan, plant-based actually, because animals can't be vegan because it's a belief, are manatees and dugongs, because they only eat plant life. Every other animal in the ocean eats somebody else. You can't kill them all off. That's stupid. That is totally stupid. Carnivores have a right to exist because they're not humans. They're not us. They have their own right to exist. Imagine, like I just said, if you killed all the animals all the sea life, because like I say, everybody in the oceans eats somebody else. Seals, sharks, whales, orcas, dolphins, they all eat someone else. Penguins. And imagine if you killed all the wild cats, wild dogs, anybody that ate somebody else. The planet would go to hell. There would be rampant prey species, I'm just using that as a term, would overrun, and they would starve to death because there'd be not enough food to feed everybody. Yeah, exactly, Pia. We don't live in nature, per se. We have no right to impose our morality and judgments on natural carnivores. If you stop to think about it, the animals would suffer too. The prey species you're supposedly trying to save would suffer from starvation and disease because there'd be no one there to kill them. And human hunters would love that if all the carnivores were killed, then it'd be more animals for them to murder. No, we have teeth to eat fruits, vegetables, and grains. We don't have teeth, we don't have fangs, we don't have claws, we don't have beaks or talons like carnivores. And imagine all the birds that would die, because birds eat somebody. Not all birds are just seed eaters. They eat worms, they eat bugs. The raptors eat fish and other mammals and stuff. I mean, oh my God. Earth Nation, it is not. It would be immoral to kill them because they don't have a choice. They can't go into a grocery store and buy tofu and buy seitan and other things. And like I said, you want to see all those prey animals you're trying to save die from starvation and disease because there's no one there to strengthen the herds. Because, like, for example, wolves will take the old, the sick, the weak, the ones that can't keep up, whatever, and it makes the herd stronger. It's better for the animals because they learn to run faster and stuff. And anyway, most of the time when they go after prey, they don't always catch whoever it is. Holy crap, been on for an hour. But yeah, it's killing all carnivores is just plain ridiculous and against veganism. That's just like the Nazis with their eugenics, saying certain ones are need to die. Like, they did it to their own people. If you read Eternal Treblinka, they started killing their own people, and they got their idea of eugenicism from this country, just like their idea for the death camps and the crematoria from here, from the slaughterhouses. I'm not a carnist, and I'm not rationalizing. I'm against human carnists, but you can't judge animals because they don't have the morals we do. Exactly, Pia. We have the choice to be compassionate. Natural predators don't have that choice. Like I said, they don't. There's not grocery stores in the wild where they can go buy some tofu or seitan, which are both delicious, or tempeh, or any of that. And so many species go extinct every day that we don't even know about. Why should we add to more extinction by killing natural predators? Well, that's their diet. They eat bamboo because that's what they're supposed to eat. They don't have a choice. That's what they're meant to eat. Well, if you don't want to be compassionate, then I don't know how anybody could not be compassionate. Is veganism is about what people do. We're not talking about wildlife. We don't need to screw their habitats up. We're already destroying habitats for grazing land, and the orangutans are suffering because of palm oil. I mean, animals are not evil. People are evil. Animals are not inherently evil. It's people that are evil. Choice ends when there's a victim involved. We as people have the choice to be compassionate. Wildlife does not have that choice. I know it's horrible what happens to their prey animals, but it has nothing to do with veganism, is what I'm saying. Bears are actually omnivores. They eat everything. They eat fish. They eat fruit. They eat different. They're omnivores. Bears are omnivores. Even wolves and foxes and coyotes, they don't just eat flesh, they eat other things that they find. Just going around in circles with some of these comments. We can't hold animals accountable because they don't have a choice. Yeah, exactly, Pete. We don't need to keep destroying this planet, and that also includes killing carnivores. That's destroying the planet. There's already deforestation, pollution, everything from factory farming. There's poaching, trophy hunting, habitat destruction, like with the orangutans, like I mentioned, with the palm oil. Vegans don't eat grass. Be reasonable, please. You can eat fruits, vegetables, rice, grains, beans, lentils, most breads, potatoes. You don't need to eat flesh, and we don't eat grass. That's ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. We are ruining the earth by factory farming. Oh my God. Some people are so dense. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry either, because factory farming is ruining the planet. Pollution, air, land, water pollution. And the fact that these animals don't want to die, they are killed as babies. Chickens and turkeys are killed when they're just weeks old. Pigs, for the most part, are killed when they're only 6 months old. Calves, male calves for veal, if they're not shot right away, they're thrown in a crate for veal. They're like 5 or 6 months old. Most animals their lifespans are cut very short. Cows can live into their 20s and 30s. Dairy industry, 5-6 years tops. Exactly, Donna. We have that choice to be compassionate. That's the point I'm making. Humans, I'm not talking about non-human animals, because we are all animals, but we have the choice to be compassionate as human beings and stop exploiting, enslaving, commodifying domesticated animals. Veganism is a belief that animals are not here for us to use in any way, shape, or form. They are not food, they're not clothing, they're not lab tools, they're not slaves, they're not entertainment, they're not toys, they're not trends like some of these idiots that breed these trendy dogs like snickerdoodles or cockerpoos or whatever the hell they're called. Each of us can make a difference in the choices we make daily on what we eat. We don't eat anybody, any living beings. We have the choice in what we buy as for like health and beauty aids, household products. We have a choice in what we use, go to for entertainment. But then you hate animals, Amadeus, if you like meat. What is so good about eating someone's flesh? Someone that did not want to die for you. Just because you didn't cut their throat doesn't mean you're not complicit in their murder. No, that's not true, Kush. They don't come into... That's why we need natural carnivores to keep the deer population down. Because human hunters, they go for the bucks with the biggest racks. They kill does and fawns too. But whereas a wolf, for example, they go after the ones that are weak or old or whatever. They make the herd stronger, and that's better for the deer. That's just a lame excuse. That's, oh, if we didn't hunt deer, they don't eat our food. Maybe they come into people's gardens, but that's because they're being pushed out of their natural habitat by developments and whatnot. Yeah, Pia, they do that. They put corn out, and some deer can't process corn, and it kills them. They lure them because hunters are cowards. They lure them out with corn or other things like bears. They'll lure them with donuts and other crap, and then they murder them. Because all the money these hunters spend on ammunition, the weapons, the camouflage, this and that, why don't they just go and be plant-based? Vegan is not food. It's plant-based. Veganism is not a diet. How hard is that to understand? I've said that repeatedly here. It's the belief that animals are not here for us to use in any way. Oh my. There's no justification for killing animals for any reason. Not for their flesh, not for their fur, their skin, or because you want to put their head on your wall. Take a picture. Go out into the woods and take a picture of a deer. Make a nice picture to hang on your wall. Nobody gets hurt. Vegan is not food. It's not a diet. Plant-based is a diet. Just say you eat vegetables and fruits and flesh. Oh my God, hot dogs are horrible. You know what? They put anything and everything in those hot dogs. To be honest, they probably put cow lips, pig anuses. Who knows what goes into hot dogs? Those are nasty processed crap. And just like bacon is a #1 carcinogen by the World Health Organization. All that highly processed flesh is disgusting and it's unhealthy. There's nothing healthy about eating animal flesh. Yeah. Hot dogs are disgusting. Like I said, just like all that other stuff like bologna and other crap. It's all highly processed and you don't know what's in there. Good way to get listeria and salmonella and whatever else. Good luck with that. Those are deadly things. Listeria, salmonella, trichinosis, and avian flu, and so many other things. All those similar illnesses are caused by eating animal flesh and animal products. As I've read stuff about in the slaughterhouses and the meat packing plants, especially if a piece of flesh lands on the floor, they'll pick it up, wrap it up. And I've read too where in grocery stores in the morgue section, that's what I call it, where all the dead animal parts are wrapped up neatly in plastic. Ugh. I hate going by there, but they'll bleach the chicken to make it look pink or whatever. See, you're being selfish, Amadeus. You're only caring about your own selfish pleasure and not about the suffering and pain and murder you're causing by eating dead animals. How hard is that to understand? I'm not trying to get too mad here, but it's like very annoying when I keep repeating myself, and I don't like doing that. But sometimes you have to keep repeating things for it to sink into people's heads. That's what I want to eat. Yeah. If you want, why is cannibalism so taboo, yet it's okay to eat animal flesh? Since we are animals too. So cannibalism should not be taboo then. Just like my cup says, we're somebody, not something. Animals are individuals who deserve respect. They don't deserve to be forcibly bred into existence, because that's what it is. They rape the cows, they rape the pigs constantly. And when the piglets and in the farrowing crates, the sows can't even, they can only stand up and lay down. They can't move around. They can't even nuzzle their own babies. And then their babies are taken away. Well, after they're born, their tails are cut off. The male piglets are castrated without anesthesia. Their teeth are cut too. And then when they're about 6 months old, they're sent to the slaughterhouse. And they rape the dairy cows, and cows are pregnant for 9 months, just like female humans. And then they take the baby away shortly after they're born. And as I've said before, the male calves are either shot in the head right away, or they're thrown in a crate and raised for veal to keep. They can't even move around good because they want their flesh pale for these idiot gourmands. And the female calves repeat the same cycle. They're put in these little crates, and it looks like a freaking concentration camp. The female calves are bottle fed by people when they should be drinking their own mother's milk. That's right, Martin. It was someone's flesh. Yeah, would it be okay if somebody came over and wanted to eat your arm, for example? They might think you taste good. And like the egg industry is horrible too, because those poor chickens, they maybe live a couple of years before their bodies are so worn out from producing more eggs than nature intended. And because of that, calcium is leached from their bones for the eggshells, and then they get broken bones. Because back in the bad old days when I still ate flesh, I noticed that, and this was a long time ago, I noticed like a chicken leg, the leg bone would be broken. And I never thought much about it, but since I became vegan in every way, found out the way they're treated, they're grabbed by their wings or their legs and thrown in crates and sent to slaughter. It's horrible. Yeah, plant-based is the diet part of veganism. It's not. Veganism itself is not a diet. It's the belief that animals are not here for us to use in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, try plant-based foods. Try not wearing any dead animal skin or fur or anything else, wool. Because the sheep are eventually killed afterwards anyway. So, and the way they do it is cruel. They shear them. They cut off half their tail, for one thing, and they shear them. It's all about speed. That's right, Martin. These non-vegans need to watch Dominion, and also Earthlings is another one I recommend, because there are things I wish I could unsee, like I think it was some breed of fox that was skinned and was still alive. I don't know how long he or she was still alive, but the poor thing, it's one of those images that's burned into my brain. And then there was another scene where these dolphins are on the pavement and their throats are being their heads are almost cut off, and there's school children walking by. That's in Japan. But it doesn't matter what country. Anywhere there's animal agriculture, this goes on. It's not just limited to one country. Anywhere there's animal, farming, and it's just as wrong to eat a cat or a dog as it is to eat a pig or a cow, vice versa. They all feel pain. They all have emotions. They all want to live. They don't want to die. Like my hat, I don't know if it's showing up good, but I wrote a bunch of things like ban slaughter on my hat. I know, that's so sad, Pia. Those poor cows, because I have relatives up in Maine. This was many years ago. My mom and I used to go visit in the summer for a couple of days, like a weekend. And my cousin and his wife, they had a cow, but they did not exploit her because she was never bred. They never exploited her for milk or any other reason. Because you can tell an unexploited cow has a small udder. Not like the humongous ones you see in these videos where the poor cows can't even walk. And this cow lived to be 20-something years old, which is normal. So being killed at 4 or 5 years old is only a fraction of their lifetime. And then they're turned into cheap the hamburgers you non-vegans eat at McDonald's or Burger King or elsewhere. That's more than one cow because they... No, it's not okay, Kush. It's not okay to keep any animal caged up and used for profit. That's what we're saying here. Animals are not here for us to use in any way, shape, or form. I know, and the mother cows cry for their babies, and the babies cry back, and the way they treat the baby the calves, I've seen them drag them by the hind leg across the floor, throw them in a wheelbarrow, and the mother cow is either bellowing for them, crying for days even afterwards, or I've seen ones where they're running after the cart where their baby is in. I did not say anything about a fenced yard. I just said that they had her as a companion. They didn't exploit her. And she died at 20-something years old. She was a companion. She was part of their family. I don't know her backstory because, we just went up there back then for, like I said, for a weekend to visit the relatives. But I don't know. That was a long time ago, and I never asked what her backstory was. I don't know. I only went up there for a few days. Martin, I think he does have a problem understanding it. Some people don't get it. It's almost like talking to a brick wall sometimes. Watch Dominion, like Pia said, like we've mentioned, watch Dominion. You'll understand better. If you don't want to listen to what I'm saying or what anybody in the chat is saying to you, watch Dominion. Just please watch Dominion, like Pia said. Like you've been recommended, watch it. You'll learn. Maybe you'll understand better. I don't know. Wow. An hour and 25 minutes I've been on here babbling. But I may do this again. I don't know. We would still be here, Kush. If we... That's no excuse not to be vegan now. That's the past. What our grandparents did doesn't matter right now. This is the present, not the past. How hard is that to understand? This is the present. We can learn from the past, just like, for example, Germans in 1930s, the Germans in 1930s Germany didn't take Hitler seriously, and look what happened. And people in this country need to take this moron seriously, is look what he's done already, but I don't want to even get into that because it makes me crazy. Exactly, Donna. That's what I've been doing, for these past however many years. I don't, some people pinpoint the exact day they became completely vegan, but my journey was kind of weird. But anyway, it doesn't matter how we got here to be vegan. It's that we are. That's the important thing. No matter how long we've been vegan, whether it's 2 months, 2 years, 20 years, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just that we're vegan. And we're trying to educate non-vegans on what's going on. Some may be willing to listen. Some just don't want to change out of pure laziness, or they're vain because they value their taste pleasure over an animal's very life. Yeah, exactly, P. I've watched videos of them romp, in different sanctuaries playing with big balls. Running around like big grass puppies, like people call them. They have so much fun, and animals love music. They form bonds on those farm sanctuaries with other species. Agree with you, Martin. Some people just don't want to listen. They want to be stubborn. Like that non-vegan friend that I've mentioned before in the community post. She drinks soy milk. I mean, not soy milk, oat milk, excuse me, but still buys other animal flesh. Usually she does it she doesn't usually buy anything like that when she takes me shopping, but once in a while she does buy the processed cheese crap. And I tell her dairy is evil, dairy is death, but it goes in one ear and out the other. She always brings up that personal choice crap. So, like, to do that personal choice thing, excuse that people use, I'm just using this as an example. Someone that chooses to rape another person, that's their personal choice to do that, and it's wrong. So it's just as wrong to rape a cow, because they have to get the semen from the bull, and then the farmer sticks his whole arm into her vagina so he can get to the uterus and, put it in there. That's sexual assault. The same thing with pigs, because pigs are bred to be so fat that they can't really mate naturally. Well, you two are keeping the stream going all right, but why should I be thankful for that when you're not understanding what we're putting out here? Martin and Pia and Donna and Brian and me, what we're telling you is not sinking in. Hopefully you will learn something. Maybe what we are saying will finally sink into your brain, into your meat-fogged brain, because eating flesh restricts blood flow to everything, your brain and other parts of your body. So if you don't care about animals, if you only care about yourself, you should care about your health. Because eating flesh and dairy and eggs causes different kinds of cancers, heart attacks, heart disease, strokes, diabetes, even dementia. Like, for example, dairy products can cause breast cancer in women and prostate cancer in men. So if the ones that don't care about animals here care only about themselves, you should care about your own health. There's pus-filled tumors in the flesh. I saw a video of that. It's gross. It's like green stuff oozing out. Well, how many of those people have health problems from eating flesh? It's just like smoking cigarettes. Cigarettes are bad for you. And some people get lung cancer and then other people don't. It's the luck of the draw, but it's better to err on the side of caution and not eat flesh and dairy and eggs. Eat fresh vegetables, if not fresh, then frozen. If you can't get frozen, then canned. But eat fruits and vegetables and grains and beans and rice and lentils and peas, chickpeas and potatoes and, like I said, most bread. It's not that hard. Yes, it is bad for you. Didn't you just listen to what I just said? Oh my God. Eating flesh can cause cancers because bacon is a carcinogen. It causes heart attacks, heart disease, strokes, diabetes, dementia, clogged arteries, impotence in men, Cigarettes are bad all the way around because they put a lot of crap in them, true. Stuff we shouldn't be putting somebody's flesh in our bodies either. Our bodies are not morgues. That's like this little joke I came up with. I said, what's the difference between a vegan and a morgue? Only one has dead bodies. I didn't say you can die from it, but it can contribute to health issues. Look at Trump. He eats McDonald's burgers a lot, undoubtedly, because he's so obese. And I'm not fat shaming, although he deserves it, but that's beside the point. Eating burgers, which was a ground up dairy cow, more than one ground up dairy cows are made into burgers. You're eating death because they're eating someone that's dead is not healthy. But still, it's not eating a lot of flesh. It's the fact that you're eating it that can cause health issues. Pia, that's funny. It is the flesh's fault. I mean, it's the person's fault for eating flesh. That flesh belonged to someone else who did not want to die. You get it? That's how people get listeria. A few months ago, there was that listeria outbreak from boar's head because it's from the flesh. You get trichinosis from undercooked pig flesh. You get E. coli, you get salmonella, avian flu. You got to take these things seriously. You got to be serious about your own health. You are your own advocate. Nobody's going to advocate for you. You've got to be your own advocate and eat healthy. And eating healthy is a plant-based diet. Cutting out flesh, dairy and eggs, and honey. Because, like I said earlier, bees make honey for their hive, for their baby, the little bee larva. And they're replaced with sugar water. And they also do things to the queen bee. I think they cut off her wings so she can't fly away. Honey is it's not necessary. No, Kush, you only get salmonella from lettuce if it's dirty. It's because of the animal manure that is in the water that they spray on the vegetables. It's not from the lettuce itself. Eating lettuce does not cause any illnesses. You get it because of the manure that's in the water, because of the runoff, because of factory farming pollution. Don't blame the lettuce, blame the factory farming, blame animal agriculture for that. Exactly, Martin. It's there. They need it for winter, and also because it also kind of acts as insulation. I heard, and stealing their honey is wrong. That belongs to them. Stealing what belongs to someone else is morally and ethically wrong. It's just the same as stealing somebody's car. You have no right to steal somebody's car. You have no right to steal someone's wallet. I don't use animals for growing food. I never said that. Don't put words in my mouth, Kush. I said it comes from the animal agriculture. They spray the vegetables and crops with the shitty water. Excuse my language, but I swear a lot, but I'm trying not to do too much. But that's right, honey is for bees. We have no right to take it and then replace it with cheap sugar water that has no nutritional value. And if the bees aren't here to pollinate things, we're screwed. And it's wrong to exploit bees for what they make for themselves. How hard is it to understand about murder, theft, and rape? How morally and ethically wrong they all are. I buy food from the grocery store and I wash things off, like grapes, for example. Any fruit or vegetables, I wash them off in case there's any residue from the poop in the water that sprayed on them. And I try to buy organic because there's no farmer's market around here that I know of, and I don't have a car, like I've said earlier. So I rely on either a bus to go somewhere or a friend of mine that has a car, that non-vegan friend. I wish she would get new shocks, because going over a bumpy road, especially in the cold weather, it's like, oh, God. Bouncy, and it's not fun. No, it's not inside the plant. It's on the outer surface. When you spray a crop, it doesn't go in. It doesn't go in. Oh, that's not true, Amadeus. That is such a big fat lie. There are bodybuilders that are vegan, and they survive well without meat. I know one, for example, and some of us in the chat know who I'm talking about. Skyjack Morgan. He's been working out at the gym, getting really pumped, getting really jacked, pun intended. And he's a complete vegan, plant-based, everything. Martin knows what I'm talking about. And Nathan, if you're still here, you know what I mean, because he's been posting pictures of him when he's been working out in the gym. So that is completely untrue. Anybody look at the strongest animals in nature. Elephants and gorillas, they are plant-based. They don't eat any flesh. Bulls, horses are strong. They don't eat flesh. They're some of the strongest animals on Earth. I'm sorry to hear that, Amadeus. If you're so stubborn and self-centered that you didn't get anything out of what we've been saying here for the past hour and 41 minutes, then that's a shame. I'm not talking about bears and lions. I said elephants and bulls and gorillas are plant-based animals, and they're some of the strongest in the world. You don't need meat to be strong. I'm not basing, I'm just making an example. I'm just making an example that they're plant-based and they're very strong. Why do you think elephants are abused as slaves in India and other Asian countries? Because they're strong, and that's no excuse to abuse them either. I'm not talking about bears. I did not mention bears. They are strong, but I'm talking about animals that are plant-based being strong, just like humans are strong, plant-based and strong. Bodybuilders, oh my God. We're just trying to educate you people on here, Amadeus and Kush. Yeah, exactly, Pia. They're all strong animals. And because of that, a lot of them are abused as slaves, like camels and horses, oxen. And that is no reason to exploit them either. Yeah, I agree decidedly, Donna. They need to watch the Game Changers. You ain't going anywhere with how strong they are. What the hell? I'm saying that they're strong because they're plant-based. Why do you think they've been abused and used as slaves and not bears and lions pulling carts and heavy loads? They're strong. Bears are omnivores. Real men are vegan, in my opinion. There's nothing macho or manly about eating the flesh of somebody who did not want to die for you. It's cowardly, in my opinion, just like hunters are cowards. I'm talking about humans, Amadeus. We have choices. How many times do I have to say that? It's getting aggravating. You know, I'm trying not to get aggravated, but sometimes it's hard when you get these annoying people that don't want to listen, that twist everything you say around to their, you know. The animals can't, true carnivores can't do anything about eating other animals, but we can. We have that choice to be compassionate. We have the choice to be kind, to choose kindness over killing. And I'm not just talking about what we eat, but in our clothing, what we purchase as household products, health and beauty aids, that type of thing. About not supporting vivisection, about not patronizing circuses, zoos, aquariums, rodeos, bullfights, horse racing, dog racing, hunting and fishing are all abusive things. That's right, Pia. I agree with what you said. Like, you know what? I wished I'd become plant-based and totally vegan sooner. Because I found out, because I have type 2 diabetes, and it's hereditary or genetic. Because my dad had it, both my brothers had or have it. my niece had it, and of course I have it. But maybe if I found out sooner, because I didn't find out till I was like 21 that I had it, maybe if I'd gone plant-based sooner, cut out meat, dairy, and eggs, I might have been able to stave it off. In fact, maybe even reverse it, but it's kind of too late now at this point in my life. But hopefully I can stave off, hopefully I'm saying, getting dementia, just because my other relative, my family had it, had it. By being socially active is important. Reading a lot. I love to read. Doing hobbies you like painting like I do, and like writing poems. Those of you who have read my poems know. Writing stories, doing word puzzles, doing things like that is important to keep your brain active. It's good to exercise your body too, but it's also important. Don't forget your mind. You need to exercise your mind and open up yourself to new experiences. Try being plant-based. Try what do you call it? Vegan 22 challenge. Give it a shot. It's not going to hurt you. It'll help you, not hurt you. And you won't be contributing to the abuse and exploitation of animals. Thank you, Martin. That's one way I want to be more of an activist, since I'm not going to be phone banking for anybody locally here anymore. I'm done with that. I want to focus on doing more activism stuff. Like giving more talks at the library, covering different areas of veganism. And also maybe if in the spring when it's nicer out, I might try to do something like what Chip does. If anybody, because the Derby Green is small, and I don't know how many people actually go around there, that maybe they walk their dogs. I might give that a try in the spring. Kush, chickens are not plants. They're not vegetables. You don't grow chickens. You're just going to be exploiting them, and that's wrong. Holy crap. People just don't get it. You don't grow chickens. Animals are not crops to be harvested. They're sentient beings that deserve to not be commodified, exploited, and enslaved. Well, you came here, Amadeus. You came here of your own free will, and we're just trying to educate you about the choices you make, how it affects others. This is my channel, and I can say what I want. When you have your own channel and go live, then you can say what you want on it, but this is my channel, and I'm going to keep repeating myself. Maybe eventually it'll sink in. You think animal abuse is funny? It's not funny. How would you like to live like one of those, like the pig? How would you like to be shoved into a gas chamber and start burning from the inside out, and then have your throat cut just so somebody can have their freaking bacon or pork chops or whatever part of their flesh? Try to put yourself in their place for once and stop being selfish. That's what some people are. Some of these non-vegans are just plain selfish. They only care about their own taste pleasure. They don't even care about their own health either, or the planet. Vegans care about all of that. Animals first and foremost. Oh yeah, Pia, I've had plant-based chicken. It's really good. In fact, tofurkey, the ones that make the tofurkey roast, they have a couple of kinds of chunks like plant-based chicken, and one kind is lightly seasoned, and it's so good. It's delicious. It's made from either tofu or seitan or something. It's on the ingredients. Just like the Beastie Burgers I like are made from seitan, and they're delicious. I like them better than Beyond Burgers, in fact. I can't say what I want. This is my channel. If you don't like it, leave. Just leave. If you don't like what I'm saying, go away. You know? Yeah, Gardein plant-based chicken is good. I've tried the different varieties, like the Mandarin kind with the little sauce on it. It's good. It goes good with mashed potato and some kind of veggie. And if anybody doesn't like what I'm saying, they're free to leave. I'm not keeping you here. Not being forced to stay. This is my channel, and I'm saying whatever I want. I'm saying the truth. Wow, going up to almost 2 hours. I didn't think I was going to be on here that long. It can still be called chicken, but it's spelled differently, just like plant-based milks are still milk. Just because it doesn't come from a cow or a goat or somebody else does not make it. You can still call it milk. Peanut butter isn't butter either, so don't stop that kind of stuff. We don't want it to look like meat. It doesn't look like meat as such. You can tell the difference because when you're cooking it, it doesn't stink. Yeah, so with your way of thinking, then peanut butter shouldn't be called peanut butter. It should be called something else then, right? No, because apples and hot dogs are two different things. Duh. Oh, boy. You mean it doesn't look like vegetables? Well, yeah, it doesn't. It's made to resemble its cruel counterpart, and there's nothing wrong with that. We can still enjoy tofu pups and Beastie Burgers and chicken and tofurkey. It's just there's no cruelty in it. Duh, we know they're two different things. One is made from animal flesh and one isn't. Jeez. Again, duh. I hate to say that, but duh. It's not made, we don't eat flesh. How hard is that to understand? Oh my God. It's like talking to a toddler or something. Exactly, Donna. We don't contribute to animal cruelty, and we know it's not made from the same thing. We don't eat animal flesh. That's why it's not made from, that's why it's called chicken, because it's usually spelled CHIK''N. We eat plants too, duh. We eat vegetables and fruits and potatoes and other things that don't contribute to animal abuse and cruelty. This is getting ridiculous. These comments from these two. They're not going to understand no matter what we say. Go watch Dominion. Go watch The Game Changer. Go watch Cowspiracy. Go watch Earthlings. Maybe it'll get through. Exactly. Exactly, Pia. Yeah, opinions are like, you know what? Everybody has one. Talking about cars is stupid because we're not talking about inanimate objects. You know, oh, I think maybe I'm going to stop at the 2-hour mark because it's getting very repetitive in here. Plants don't have feelings. They don't have a central nervous system. They don't have a heart. They don't scream and bleed when you cut them. Stop and think, please. Use some critical thinking. I think a lot of people lost their critical thinking cap. That's exactly right, Martin. And Amadeus, I do have a name. That's exactly, Pia. You don't hear apples scream when you peel and cut them up. Pigs scream like bloody murder, which is what it is, bloody murder. Because they throw them in a scalding tank to remove the hair from their bodies while they're still conscious. Plants are living things. Cars are inanimate objects. Any 2-year-old or 3-year-old can understand that concept. That a plant is a living thing, not a living being. There's a difference. They're not sentient. Cars are inanimate objects. No, they're not like a car or a rock. Rock are inanimate objects. Animals are not objects. Plants are living things. Can't you understand the difference? Oh my God, it's like, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, does your hair scream when you get it cut? Yeah, plants are just like hair in a way, because like your lawn. If you're so worried about plants, don't cut your lawn. Don't use paper products, and that's how ridiculous that comparison is. Oh, and once they take the baby pigs away from their mother, they rape her again to produce more. They just treat her as a machine, not as a living being. Like the difference between big world of difference between a pig and a car. Duh. Holy crap. I jab a potato with a fork before I put it in the microwave to bake it, and I've never heard it scream. It doesn't bleed. Well, happy. Yeah, I'm a potato killer. I stabbed it with a fork. Hair actually is a living thing because it grows. Just like plants grow, they're living things, but they're not sentient. Your hair isn't sentient. Yeah, fruit is are living things. Yeah, they grow. But they're not sentient. Things that grow are living things, but that doesn't make them sentient. Plants don't have a brain or a central nervous system, like I said. Well, this certainly has been interesting, to say the least. Now, here's another good book, a good recommend. I don't know if you can see it. I got that from Thrift Books. And also, this one is a must-read for the dreaded comparison. I just like to recommend some books. Another one that I got from Thrift Books is about Farm Sanctuary, started by Gene Bauer. And it all his Farm Sanctuary, because there's one in Watkins Glen, New York, and there's one out in California. It started when he found at like a slaughterhouse or the holding pen or whatever, a sheep that was left for dead on a pile. Her name was Hilda, and that's how Farm Sanctuary got started. There are some sanctuaries in Connecticut. I just got to find out where they are and if I can get a ride to one of them. I think there's like 2 or 3. I'm not sure. But I would love to go there and give a pig a belly rub, hug a chicken, cuddle a chicken, pet a cow, whoever might be there. But I think it's further upstate than where I am. But someday. Well, I think I'm going to stop for now. Thank everybody for coming here, even the ones that have been annoying. But please, watch Dominion, watch The Game Changers, watch Earthlings. There's a whole bunch of them. Pignorant is another one. I can't delete I can delete whatever I want. Like that expression goes, I'm going to use the word. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. I can delete whatever I want. Well, thank you, Donna and Martin and everybody that came here. Thank you, Pia. Yeah, I can. It's my channel, Amadeus. How hard is that to understand? It's my channel. I can delete whoever I want. I can report whoever I want too. Yep, especially those who eat flesh. Their farts are probably stinkier than a vegan's farts. Yeah, I'll do it again sometime. I'm not sure when, but I will let you know. Well, I can't report you. There's different things for reporting, but bye, everybody. Over and out. Let's see.